The tallest peaks in life don't tower before us by accident. They stand as monuments to what we might achieve, if only we dare to start climbing. Right now, millions of people sit at the base of their own mountains, staring up at heights that make their hearts pound and their courage waver. But I'm going to share something vital with you. Something that changed my life and the lives of thousands who made the bold choice to rise. Think of the last time you faced a moment that made you question everything. That instant when your hands trembled, your throat went dry, and every logical part of your brain screamed, "Turn back." For me, that moment came in 1975, standing in an empty radio studio at 3 a.m., gripping a microphone with sweaty palms. The equipment hummed softly, waiting. I had quit my stable job to pursue what others called a foolish dream, inspiring millions through the power of radio. My savings were dwindling, my family worried, and the easiest thing would have been to walk away. But here's what I understood then, and what I want to burn into your mind now. That not in your stomach, that voice of doubt, that mountain that looks impossible to climb. They're not warning signs to retreat. They're signposts marking the exact path you need to take. Every person who changed the world, built something meaningful, or transformed their life started exactly where you are now. At the foot of their mountain, fighting the urge to turn back. Your mountain is waiting. It might be a business you dream of starting, a skill you need to master, a relationship you must repair, or a life you want to completely rebuild. Its height isn't what matters. What matters is understanding that the difficulty of the climb isn't your enemy. It's your opportunity. The resistance you feel isn't pushing you back. It's strengthening you for what's ahead. Look around in nature and you'll notice something fascinating. Water always finds the path of least resistance, flowing downhill, curving around obstacles, never pushing through them. And we humans, we're naturally wired the same way. Our brains are magnificently designed to conserve energy, to seek shortcuts, to find the quickest way from point A to point B. It's built into our DNA, this instinct to avoid pain, to dodge difficulty, to search for the easier path. But here's the beautiful paradox. Our greatest achievements, our most profound growth, and our most treasured victories come precisely when we fight against this natural inclination. Consider these. In 1990, in a small garage in California, 2 college students faced a choice. They could take secure corporate jobs with established tech companies, the easy path that their peers were choosing. Instead, they chose to start their own company, working endless hours, facing constant rejection, and risking everything they had. That company became one of the world's largest technology firms, transforming how we live and work. The truth about resistance isn't written in self-help books. It's written in our muscles. When you lift weights, your muscles don't grow during the easy part. They grow when they face resistance, when they're challenged beyond their comfort zone. Every time you press against that weight, thousands of tiny fibers tear and rebuild stronger than before. This isn't just about physical strength. It's the fundamental law of growth that applies to every aspect of life. The skills you're most proud of today, did they come from moments of ease, or did they emerge from hours of practice, frustration, and persistence? That language you learned, that instrument you mastered, that promotion you earned, each came through embracing resistance, not avoiding it. History shows us this pattern repeatedly. In 1955, a woman refused to take the easy path of giving up her bus seat, choosing instead the harder road of standing up for human dignity. Rosa Parks' decision sparked a movement that transformed a nation. She didn't choose this path because it was easy. She chose it because it was necessary. Thomas Edison didn't fail 1,000 times. When inventing the light bulb, he discovered 1,000 ways that didn't work. Each failure was a step on the harder path that led to one of humanity's most transformative innovations. The resistance he faced didn't weaken his resolve. It strengthened his determination. Consider the Wright brothers. They could have accepted the common wisdom that human flight was impossible. Instead, they chose years of ridicule, countless failed attempts, and numerous injuries. Their path was harder than anyone else's because they were creating a path where none existed. The hidden value in resistance isn't just about the end result. It's about who you become in the process. Every obstacle you face is actually a test asking one simple question. How badly do you want your dreams? The harder path doesn't just lead to your goal. It transforms you into someone capable of achieving even bigger goals. When you face resistance, something remarkable happens in your brain. New neural pathways form, creativity flourishes, and solutions emerge that you couldn't have imagined from the easy path. This is why innovations often come from those facing the greatest challenges. Necessity paired with resistance creates potential for breakthrough. This isn't just motivational theory. It's backed by research. Studies show that people who overcome significant early life challenges often develop extraordinary resilience and problem-solving abilities. The resistance they faced early on equipped them with tools that others never developed. The hard path literally rewired their brains for success. Remember this, every time you choose the harder path, you're not just working toward a goal. You're casting a vote for who you want to become. The resistance you face today is building the strength you'll need tomorrow. That's why the easy path, though tempting, often leads to the hardest life, while the hard path, though challenging, often leads to the easiest life. The question isn't whether you'll face resistance. You will. The question is whether you'll see it for what it truly is. Not an obstacle to your success, but a crucial ingredient. Inside every human being lies a reservoir of untapped potential, a wellspring of power that most people never fully access. But what determines who reaches this potential isn't talent, education, or even luck. It's understanding a fundamental truth about your own inner strength. It isn't fixed. It grows through challenges, much like a muscle strengthening under weight. Consider your mind like a garden. Every thought you plant takes root and grows. When you face a difficult situation, you have two seeds you can plant. The first one whispers, "This is too hard. You're not ready. You might." The second one says, "This challenge is here to make you stronger." Each step forward builds your power. The seed you choose to nurture will determine not just your outcome, but your entire life's direction. I've spent decades studying successful individuals, watching them transform from ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. The difference wasn't that they faced fewer obstacles, often they faced more. The difference was in how they viewed these obstacles. They developed what I call the strength-seeking mindset. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they asked, "How is this happening for me?" A time when you faced something that seemed impossible, maybe it was starting a new career, overcoming a personal loss, or fighting for something you believed in. In that moment, you had two choices: retreat to safety or push forward into discomfort. The irony is that the moment you choose to push forward, something magical happens. Your perception of the challenge begins to shift. Your character isn't shaped in moments of comfort. It's forged in moments of choice, and the easy path beckons. But you choose the challenging one instead. Each time you make this choice, you're not just solving a problem, you're building your character's foundation. Every challenge you face adds another layer of strength to your foundation. I remember meeting a woman in 1988 who lost everything in a natural disaster. Her home, her business, all gone overnight. She told me something profound. I thought I was experiencing the worst moment of my life. Instead, I was experiencing the moment that would reveal my true strength. Within 2 years, she had built a bigger business and helped her entire community recover. The disaster didn't break her, it revealed her. The fear of hard choices paralyzes many people. They stand at crossroads, frozen by the possibility of making the wrong decision. But here's what they don't understand. The wrong decision isn't choosing the harder path and struggling. It's letting fear make the choice for you. Every hard choice you face is actually an opportunity to prove to yourself what you're capable of. Let me break down the anatomy of fear when facing difficult choices. First comes the physical response. Your heart races, your palms sweat, your mind floods with worst-case scenarios. This isn't weakness. It's your body preparing you for something important. Second comes the mental battle. The voice of doubt versus the voice of potential. The key is recognizing that this battle isn't about capability. It's about belief. Your inner strength grows exponentially when you understand this simple truth. Difficulty isn't a sign that you're going in the wrong direction. Often it's a sign that you're heading exactly where you need to go. Think of it like this. If you're learning to play an instrument, the difficult pieces you can't yet master aren't evidence of your limitations. They're indicators of your next level of growth. Every person who achieved something meaningful first had to overcome the fear of inadequacy. They had to silence the voice that said, "Who are you to try this?" They did it by understanding that their inner strength wasn't a fixed quantity but a growing force. Each challenge they faced, each hard choice they made, added to their reservoir of power. The beautiful truth about inner strength is that it compounds. Every difficult situation you face and push through makes the next one slightly easier. Not because the challenges get smaller, but because you get stronger. Your capacity for handling difficulty expands. What seemed impossible a year ago becomes manageable today. Breaking down the fear of hard choices starts with understanding. You don't need to see the entire path to take the first step. You don't need to feel completely ready to begin. Your inner strength doesn't come from knowing all the answers. It comes from being willing to face the questions. Every great achievement in human history started with someone willing to take that first uncertain step. Take a moment right now to think about the challenging choice you're facing. Instead of focusing on what might go wrong, focus on who you might become by facing it. The strength you're looking for isn't found in avoiding difficult choices. It's built by making. Your inner power isn't waiting to be discovered. It's waiting to be developed through the challenges you choose to face. Remember, the size of your challenges determines the size of your growth. Small challenges make you slightly stronger. Big challenges, the ones that keep you awake at night, those are the ones that can transform you completely. Your inner strength is like a muscle waiting to be tested. The question isn't whether you have enough strength. The question is whether you're ready to start building it. The transformation from who you are to who you can become isn't a gentle drift. It's a powerful metamorphosis driven by the obstacles you choose to confront. When a caterpillar enters its chrysalis, it doesn't simply grow wings. Its entire body breaks down and rebuilds itself. This complete reconstruction is nature's blueprint for profound change, and it mirrors the human transformation process perfectly. Every obstacle you face triggers a similar process in your mind and character. When you're at a wall in your business, when your relationships test your limits, when your goals seem impossibly distant. These aren't just challenges to overcome. They're catalysts for your transformation. The pressure you feel isn't breaking you. It's rebuilding you into something stronger. Scientists have discovered something remarkable about human adaptation. When we face adversity, our brains actually change their physical structure. New neural pathways form, stress hormones convert into growth factors, and our problem-solving abilities expand. This process, called neuroplasticity, means that every obstacle you face literally rewires your brain to handle bigger challenges. In 1991, a teacher in the city of Chicago inherited a class that other educators had given up on. Instead of taking the easy route and just getting through the year, she chose the harder path. She doubled homework assignments, extended class hours, and demanded excellence when others expected failure. By year's end, her students hadn't just improved. They had achieved the highest scores in the school's history. The obstacle transformed not just her students, but her entire approach to teaching. Consider the story of Paul Anderson, who in 1992 was diagnosed with a severe spinal condition. Doctors told him he'd never walk normally again. He faced two paths: accept the limitations or fight through excruciating physical therapy. He chose the harder road, spending 3 years rebuilding his strength. Today, he runs a foundation helping youth overcome physical challenges. The obstacle didn't just heal him, it gave him his life's purpose. The science of growth through adversity reveals a fascinating pattern. Research shows that approximately 85% of people who face severe adversity report positive changes afterward. These aren't just coping mechanisms, they're fundamental improvements in resilience, empathy, and personal strength. The obstacle becomes the foundation for something greater. Look at Sarah Martinez, who started her business in 1994 during an economic downturn. While others waited for better conditions, she pushed forward with just $200 on a laptop. Every rejection, every financial struggle, every sleepless night shaped her business acumen. Today, her company employs hundreds, not because the path was easy, but because it was hard. The obstacles didn't prevent her success. They created it. Olympic athletes, they deliberately choose training regimens that push them past their breaking points. Why? Because they understand that transformation doesn't happen in comfort zones. Every time they lift heavier weights, run longer distances, or practice harder routines, they're not just preparing for competition, they're rebuilding themselves. The transformation process follows 3 distinct stages. First comes the resistance, that moment when everything in you wants to quit. This is where most people stop, never realizing that the resistance itself is the agent of change. Second comes the adaptation. Your mind and body begin to adjust to the new demands. Finally comes the breakthrough. Suddenly what seemed impossible becomes your new normal. A software developer faced a choice in 1995. Stay in his comfortable corporate job or risk everything to develop a revolutionary medical diagnosis program. He chose the harder path, working 18-hour days, learning complex medical terminology, facing countless setbacks. 6 years later, his software was saving lives in hospitals worldwide. The obstacles didn't delay his success. They were his success. This process mirrors what happens in nature when gold is refined. The metal must endure extreme heat, not despite its value, but because of it. The heat doesn't diminish the gold. It purifies it, making it more precious. Every obstacle you face is that heat burning away what's unnecessary, leaving behind something more valuable. Consider Amy Harrison, who in 1996 lost her major corporate clients during an industry shift. Instead of searching for similar clients, she chose the harder path of completely reinventing her business model. She studied new industries, learned cutting-edge technologies, and transformed her company into something entirely different. Today, her business thrives not because she avoided obstacles, but because she used them as stepping stones. The obstination process requires understanding this vital truth. The obstacle isn't something separate from your success. It's an essential component of it. Every difficulty you face isn't just a test of your current abilities. It's an opportunity to develop new ones. Steel becoming a sword. The metal doesn't simply need to be shaped. It needs to be heated, hammered, and folded repeatedly. Each strike of a hammer, each blast of heat, isn't damaging the steel. It's making it stronger, more flexible, more capable of holding its edge. Your obstacles are that hammer and heat, forging you into something more powerful than you were before. The real-world examples of this process are endless, but they all share one common thread. The individual chose to see their obstacles, not as barriers to success, but as the path to it. They understood that transformation doesn't happen despite the difficulties. It happens because of them. Your current obstacles, whatever they may be, aren't here to stop you. They're here to transform you into the person capable of achieving your goals. Every rejection builds resilience. Every setback develops problem-solving skills. Every challenge expands your conception of what's possible. This isn't just motivation. It's the fundamental mechanism of human growth. Standing at the foot of your mountain is meaningless unless you're willing to take that first step. Mental toughness isn't born from theories or good intentions. It's forged through action, through the daily decision to push a little further beyond your comfort zone. I'm going to show you exactly how to build that resilience, one calculated step at a time. Understand this fundamental principle. Mental toughness operates exactly like physical strength. You wouldn't walk into a gym and try to lift 300 pounds on your first day. Instead, you start with what you can handle and gradually increase the weight. Your mind requires the same progressive training. Start with manageable challenges that stretch you slightly beyond your current limits. Here's your first practical step. Each morning, do something that makes you slightly uncomfortable. Maybe it's making that phone call you've been avoiding, speaking up in a meeting when you'd rather stay quiet, or tackling your hardest task first instead of procrastinating. These small victories aren't just tasks completed. They're building blocks of resilience. The compound effect of daily challenges works like compound interest in your bank account. If you save a small amount daily, it doesn't seem significant at first. But over time, the growth becomes exponential. The same happens with mental toughness. Each small challenge you overcome adds to your psychological strength, creating a momentum that makes bigger challenges feel more manageable. I met a banker in 1997 who developed an interesting system. Every day, he would intentionally put himself in one situation that made him uncomfortable. He started small, making eye contact with strangers, initiating conversations, taking a different route to work. Within 6 months, he was confidently leading major presentations and negotiating million-dollar deals. The challenges grew as his resilience grew. Create your personal challenge system by following these concrete steps. First, list 3 areas of your life where you want to develop greater resilience. Maybe it's public speaking, financial discipline, or physical fitness. For each area, create 3 levels of challenges: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Start with beginner challenges and only move forward when they become comfortable. The key to this system is consistency over intensity. It's better to face small challenges every day than to attempt massive ones sporadically. Your brain needs regular exposure to stress and recovery to build lasting resilience. Think of it like building a wall. Laying one brick perfectly each day will create a stronger structure than trying to build the whole wall in one frenzied attempt. Track your progress meticulously. Keep a simple log of each challenge you face and how it felt. Rate your discomfort level before and after. You'll start noticing patterns. Activities that once rated as highly uncomfortable will gradually become manageable. This isn't just progress. It's proof of your growing resilience. Build what I call resilience rituals into your daily routine. These are non-negotiable actions that push you slightly out of your comfort zone. Maybe it's taking a cold shower, practicing public speaking for 5 minutes, or solving a complex problem before breakfast. These rituals become anchors that remind you of your commitment to growth. Resilience isn't about being fearless. It's about moving forward despite the fear. Every time you take action while feeling uncertain, you're strengthening your resilience muscle. The goal isn't to eliminate discomfort, it's to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Your personal challenge system should include regular resilience tests. Bigger challenges that help you measure your progress. Schedule these monthly or quarterly. They might be giving a presentation, running a longer distance, or taking on a complex project. These tests serve as milestones in your journey and show you how far you've come. The beauty of building resilience through action is that it creates a positive feedback loop. Each challenge you overcome increases your confidence, making you more likely to take on future challenges. This upward spiral of growth becomes self-sustaining, turning you into someone who actively seeks growth opportunities rather than avoiding them. Finally, understand that setbacks are not failures. They're part of the strengthening process. Every time you fall short, you're still building resilience as long as you get back up and continue. The path to mental toughness isn't a straight line. It's a series of advances and retreats, each making you stronger than before. Your resilience journey starts now, not tomorrow. Choose your first small challenge and take action immediately. The person you become through this process isn't just tougher. They're more capable, more confident, and better equipped to handle whatever life throws. The mountain ahead doesn't become smaller, but you become stronger with each step you take. While you stand here today, working through your challenges, pushing past your limits, something bigger than personal achievement is taking shape. Your struggle, your persistence, your choice to take the harder path, it reaches far beyond your own life. You're creating ripples that touch lives you may never meet, influencing futures you may never see. The first person who decided to run a marathon, they didn't know they would inspire millions to test their own limits. When they pushed through their pain, fought their doubts, and crossed that finish line, they created a possibility in others' minds. Today, thousands of people cross marathon finish lines every weekend, each one proving that the impossible is achievable. Personal growth isn't a solitary journey, even though it often feels that way. When you choose to face your fears, when you decide to take that harder road, you become living proof of human potential. Your children watch you persist through difficulties and learn that challenges are opportunities. Your colleagues see you tackle tough projects and realize they too can aim higher. Your friends witness your transformation and begin to question their own self-imposed limits. In 1998, I met a small business owner who chose to keep his staff employed during a severe economic downturn, taking no salary himself for 6 months. He could have laid off workers and protected his own income, the easier path many others chose. His sacrifice meant more than just preserved jobs. It showed his entire team what authentic leadership looks like. Years later, several of those employees started their own businesses, each one carrying forward the lessons of integrity they learned during those tough months. This ripple effect of choosing difficult paths shows up everywhere in history. Marie Curie's determination to pursue science in an era when women were discouraged from such studies didn't just earn her 2 Nobel Prizes. It opened doors for generations of female scientists. Her choice of the harder path created waves that continue to shape lives today. Your perseverance builds more than personal success. It builds a legacy. Every time you choose courage over comfort, determination over surrender, growth over stagnation, you're writing a story that will outlive you. Think about the stories of persistence that inspired you. Someone chose the difficult path and saw it through, never knowing their story would give you strength years later. A teacher I knew took the challenging path of creating special programs for struggling students, working extra hours without pay. She could have stuck to standard teaching methods. Many did. 20 years later, her former students still talk about how she changed their lives. But here's what's most remarkable. Many of those students became teachers themselves, each one carrying forward her dedication to making a difference. The power of your example extends beyond those who know you personally. When you overcome significant obstacles, your story becomes part of the human narrative of possibility. Every breakthrough you achieve, every barrier you break, every fear you overcome adds to humanity's understanding of what's possible. Consider the compounding effect of perseverance across generations. When you push through difficulties, you're not just changing your life, you're changing your family's story. Children who watch their parents persevere learn resilience, not through lectures but through living example. They inherit not just the fruits of your labor, but the strength of your character. Your choice to take the harder path creates a permission slip for others to do the same. When you start that challenging business, return to school at an older age, stand up for what's right despite opposition, you're showing others that they too can choose courage over comfort. Your actions whisper to others, if I can do this, so can you. In 1999, a woman started a small support group for parents of children with rare medical conditions. She could have focused solely on her own child's needs. No one would have blamed her. Instead, she chose the harder path of building a community. Today, that group has helped thousands of families, spawned similar groups nationwide, and influenced medical research priorities. Her personal challenge became a movement that continues to grow. Building a legacy through perseverance isn't about seeking recognition. It's about understanding that your struggles today create stepping stones for others tomorrow. When you face a difficult choice, remember, you're not just deciding for yourself. You're deciding what stories future generations will tell about overcoming adversity. The impact of your perseverance ripples outward in ways you may never fully know. That project you finished, despite all odds, might inspire a colleague to pursue their dreams. Your comeback from failure might give someone else the courage to try again. Your refusal to give up might be the example someone needs during their darkest hour. Your legacy isn't just what you achieve. It's what you inspire others to achieve. Every time you choose the harder path, you make it a little easier for someone else to make the same choice. You're not just climbing your own mountain. You're leaving handholds for others to follow. Remember this. The strongest destinations aren't reached alone. They're reached by those who understand that their struggle lights the way for others. Your perseverance today becomes someone else's courage tomorrow. The hard road you're walking isn't just your path to growth. It's your gift to the future. Right now, in this exact moment, your future is taking shape. Through the choices you make, the path ahead splits into two distinct roads. One smooth and familiar, the other rocky and challenging. Your decision in this moment isn't just about today. It's about who you'll be tomorrow, next year, and in the decades to come. The biggest regrets people share at the end of their lives. They rarely regret the challenges they faced. Instead, they regret the chances they didn't take, the comfort they chose over growth, the times they said maybe later instead of yes now. Today, you stand at a crossroads where you can make a different choice. Your current situation, whatever it might be, isn't your final destination. It's your starting point. That business you dream of starting, that degree you want to pursue, that relationship you need to repair, that health goal you want to achieve, they all wait on the harder road. The path might be steep, the journey might be long, but that's exactly why the rewards are so profound. In 1995, I watched a man in his 50s return to college after 3 decades of factory work. His kids were grown, his savings were modest, and everyone told him it was too late to change careers. 4 years later, he graduated with honors and started a youth mentoring program that has since helped thousands of teenagers find their path. The harder road led him not just to personal fulfillment, but to a purpose bigger than himself. The ultimate reward of taking hard roads isn't just reaching your destination. It's who you become along the way. Every obstacle you face, every challenge you overcome, every moment of doubt you push through transforms you. You develop strength you never knew you had, wisdom you couldn't have gained any other way, and confidence that comes only from facing your fears. Success isn't measured by how quickly you reach your destination, but by how much you grow reaching it. The easy path might get you there faster, but the hard road makes you better. It builds character that lasts long after the achievement is forgotten. It creates strength that carries you through future challenges. Here's what I want you to understand about human potential. It's not a fixed quantity waiting to be discovered. It's a capacity waiting to be developed. Every time you choose the harder path, you expand your potential. Every time you face a challenge instead of avoiding it, you increase your capacity for achievement. The most remarkable transformations I've witnessed didn't come from people with special advantages or extraordinary talents. They came from ordinary individuals who simply refused to take the easy way out. They understood that greatness isn't born. It's built, one difficult choice at a time. Your next step doesn't need to be huge. It just needs to be forward. Start today. Choose one area where you've been taking the easy road and make a different choice. Sign up for that challenging project at work. Have that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Take the first step toward that goal that scares you. Remember this. Future generations will live in a world shaped by the choices you make today. Your persistence becomes their inspiration. Your courage becomes their example. Your determination becomes their starting point. The hard road you choose to walk doesn't just lead to your success. It blazes a trail for others to follow. The opportunity before you isn't just about personal achievement. It's about becoming someone who makes a difference. It's about creating a legacy of courage, perseverance, and growth that continues long after you've reached your destination. Stand tall in this moment. Look ahead to those challenging paths that make others turn back. See them for what they truly are, not obstacles to your success, but stepping stones to your greatness. The hardest roads in life don't lead to easy destinations. They lead to places worth reaching, achievements worth celebrating, and a life worth living. Your potential isn't limited by your current circumstances. It's limited only by your willingness to grow through challenges. The hard road awaits, not to test you, but to transform you. Every step forward, no matter how difficult, brings you closer to the person you're capable of becoming. The choice is yours now. The easy path will always be there, tempting you with its comfort and safety. But the hard road, with all its challenges and uncertainties, holds the key to everything you want to achieve. Choose the hard road, not because it's difficult, but because it leads to the strongest destination, the fullest expression of your potential. Your future is calling. Answer it with courage, face it with determination, and pursue it with unstoppable persistence. The hardest roads lead to the strongest destinations, and your destination awaits. Now rise and begin.